Hello there, my name is Alaydriem, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial with your favorite cardigan-wearing Minecraft character. And today in this episode, I'm here to show you this mini moss farm that you can build for your Minecraft Bedrock 1.20 world. This farm is very efficient for its size. It features a 1:2 bone meal ratio, meaning that for every piece of bone meal that you put in, you'll get 2 pieces of bone meal that come out, one that you can use to feed the machine and keep it running indefinitely, and another that you can use as your own profit that you can put to any other types of farms that you need bone meal for. Overall, this farm should be producing you around 550 pieces of bone meal per hour, though it's going to vary a bit depending upon what type of moss blocks are actually generated by the farm and how the composter decides to compost that back down. This farm fits in a very compact 14 by 16 by 8 area, meaning that you can shove it in the corners of your base or near any of your other farms, say your tree farm or your azalea farm or whatever it may be, and you can use this to keep those farms running basically indefinitely. This mini moss farm is a great addition to have in any world, especially when you're just starting off and don't have a lot of materials to invest in a larger farm, or just want some bone meal so that you can have a simple tree farm without needing to set up a skeleton spawner where you run the risk of having your tools break down while you're AFK, or worse, even dying. This mini moss farm will also help you kickstart this monster, which is my mega moss farm. This farm produces anywhere between 9,000 and 11,000 pieces of bone meal every single hour, is self-sustaining, and will basically be the backbone of your server if you have any type of tree farms or anything whatsoever. Basically, if you build this farm, you're never running out of bone meal ever again. However, as you can see, this farm takes a lot of materials, and while it's worth it being the fastest, most efficient bone meal farm on Minecraft Bedrock Edition that I'm aware of this size, it's a little bit big to build and is a little bit daunting, especially when you're just starting out. So this mini moss farm, in comparison, fills a nice gap in between the early game where you're needing to gather lots of resources very quickly and the late game where you're able to build these larger farms. And remember, if you do decide to build this farm in your world, you like the video, you want to see more content like it, or you have other farms that you would like me to build, please consider liking this video, please consider subscribing, and please consider giving your feedback down in the comments, especially if you have other farms you want to build. I always love hearing from you, and I'm always excited to hear your feedback. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into the tutorial. So to get started, you're going to want to carve out a 14 by 16 area in this diagram right here. The area includes the moss and green wool border. Once you have this carved out, you're going to want to go to the front of the farm, which is the longer direction going 16, and then we're going to start placing some blocks. So from the front of the farm, you're going to want to come to the bottom right corner here on the side, and we're going to go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to go in 1 block, place a piece of redstone dust, block on top of it, and then we're going to grab a regular piston. We're making a simple etho hopper clock right here, so another piston goes over here, redstone dust goes behind this with a block on top of it. Then we're going to place a comparator here and here. If you didn't place that block in, you can just place it right above that piece of redstone dust there. Then we're going to have 2 hoppers facing into one another as shown here. Inside of these hoppers, you're going to want to place 4 items. It doesn't matter what the items are. And once you have that in place, we're going to get 2 solid blocks, and we're going to place them right in front of this leftmost piston. Grab yourself a repeater. We're going to place that repeater directly into the hopper with a piece of redstone dust behind it, redstone dust out here, and then we're going to place a lever right down here to turn the farm on and off. We are turning the farm off by locking this hopper, and that will prevent all of our clocking from happening. Next, we're going to swing on over here to the back. Behind this redstone block, we're going to place 1 block over, put 2 solid blocks directly on top of this. We're going to grab dispensers. Dispensers, we're going to go up 2 blocks with this, and you can get rid of that bottom one. Then we're going to grab ourselves a piece of regular block that can just go right here. This is temporary for the time being, just so we can place everything else in. Place a hopper going into that, and then a hopper going down into this hopper. Then we're going to grab ourselves a redstone repeater going into the solid block, redstone dust on top of this solid block. And then right beside this right here, we're going to place a hopper facing into the dispenser with a barrel on top. Finally, over here, we're going to grab a redstone torch. We're going to put it on the right side of this dispenser. And then we are going to place a solid block on top of it. On top of this dispenser, go ahead and place a moss block. And then you're going to want to grab a regular piston and set it on that solid block that we placed back there. And you should see it extend immediately. Next, we're going to add in our floor. And to do this, you're going to want to get some slabs. We're going to go over 2 on each side of this piston. And then we're going to go out a total of 6. We're going to fill in this entire space except for that spot on the front, the spot directly over the hopper, and everywhere else will have some solid blocks in place. Then we're going to go over here to the side, and on each side of these, we're going to extend out 3 blocks for the length of this. So it's going to be a 3x6 platform. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So come over here, we're going to place some temporary blocks just so that we can get that in. You're going to need to swap blocks in and out as shown, and then build yourself another 3x6 platform. Once that platform's in place, we're now going to build our collection system. So head over here to this redstone dust, put any temporary block down, hopper on top of it, hopper going into that. We're going to grab yourself a powered rail, place that down here, minecart with a hopper directly on top of it, and then you want to ever so delicately get rid of this temporary piece of track right here. If you're having troubles, just turn on the hitboxes and that'll make it a little bit easier. But once you have that knocked out there, I recommend giving this just a little push back real quick so that it's locked in place. Then you can grab yourself a slab or a block or whatever it may be and cover this hopper so that you know that that minecart hopper is not going anywhere. You can then get rid of that temporary block that we placed right beneath this, and that will once again lock everything in place. Once you have this in place, we are going to dig out 2 spots directly in front of this, and then we're going to place down a chest or barrel, hopper going into it, composter on top, hopper going into that, hopper going into the back, and we'll connect that to our main feed mechanism. And then we're going to swing over to the left side of this, and we're going to connect a line from that bottom hopper there all the way to the back here where we have this temporary block. If you remember, we placed in this hopper, we can now swap that out, connect that there, and now that will catch any of the bone meal that accidentally gets just stuck there when that piston fires. Once you have this in place, it's now time to build our stone generators. We're going to build one on each side. I'm going to do them at the same time. So 6 pistons over here on this last shelf that we built, 6 over here on this side, and then align the back of these with solid obsidian. It's very important that this is obsidian so that these pistons don't push themselves backwards. We're going to align the front of this, starting with the pistons all the way over with glass. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. You can technically use any block you want here, but I like looking into my farms. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab some stone, and you're going to place it directly in front of these pistons. This is the only stone that you need to add. The stone generator will do the rest for us. Then we're going to waterlog every single one of these pistons. You will not be able to see this right away, so just make sure you get an infinite water source and fill them all in. Go ahead and put redstone dust on all of these pieces of obsidian, and then using glass, we're going to place one here on the pistons and then on the sides as well. And then that should reveal to you where the water is waterlogged. And then we're going to cover the front of this as well to make sure that when we put the lava in, that is nice and contained. So you should have something that looks a little like this. Go ahead and grab your lava bucket, place one piece of lava in any one of these slots that you have here. And now your stone generators are now complete. Let's move on to the actual clocking mechanism. So we're going to head on over here to the back. We're going to place a dispenser here and a dispenser there. 3 pieces of glass right there, solid block in the middle with a repeater on each side of that with a piece of redstone dust on top of each of these dispensers. You're going to get a solid block behind each of these dispensers, and we're going to place one here and here. Then we're going to get an observer temporary block that's going to come out of. So observer with the dot facing out, observer with the dot facing out here. You can get rid of that temporary block. Redstone dust on top. Then you're going to grab yourself a sticky piston. We're going to place our sticky piston right here on this bottom glass block. Then we're going to swing over here to the front, place an observer with the eye facing towards you, replace that glass block, and now we have our mechanism to tick our water on and off. We're going to swing over here to the back side now, go in 3 on each side of the corner, 2 blocks here, 2 blocks here, another 2 blocks over, and then we have this kind of staircase pattern that we have here. 2 redstone comparators in this configuration, 2 in this, redstone torch here. And then we're going to have 2 hoppers facing one another on top of these lowermost comparators. So just place one temporarily, delete it, face the other one into it. They should feed into each other like that. Do the same thing here at the bottom. Make sure that those hoppers are pointed into one another. You're then going to place 2 redstone torches on the back, a redstone repeater here, redstone dust, and then you're going to carry this redstone dust line all the way to this powered clock by our lever so that we can turn this on and off. This will lock that hopper so that we can basically turn the farm off. In this bottommost hopper, place 1 item, and then this upper one, you're going to want to place 8 items total. It's okay if one of them flips over while the hopper locks. It doesn't really matter. And then you're going to come over here and we are going to place in a solid block 2 blocks up. Make sure that you get solid blocks 2 blocks over the redstone torches, and then continue that all the way over to here. Redstone repeater going into this piston. You're going to have 2 comparators going this way. This is a simple delay circuit that fires into this. And then we are going to build our staircase up from our locking mechanism down by our dispenser that fires and turns our bone meal on and off in order to connect these 2 components together. So create a staircase like this, and then align all of this with redstone dust. Next, all we need to do is wire this all up together. So extend 2 blocks out and make a 1x3 platform as shown right here. We're going to have a redstone repeater going that way, redstone repeater going this way. We're going to have that facing into a block. And then from each of these pieces of obsidian, extend 5 blocks out. Do the same thing over here on the right. Then we're going to extend up 1 more on a staircase and carry that all the way over to this corner. Do the exact same thing on the other side. So up 1, and then 2, 3, and then a 4th one that connects that right there. Redstone repeater right before the obsidian on both sides. Grab yourself redstone dust, carry that line all over these solid blocks. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. And once that is in place, you're going to come over here to the middle and we're going to build a glass tower. We're going to place redstone dust there, glass, and then just build yourself a glass staircase using this. We can come down here. You can use a solid block, whatever you're most comfortable with, to carry that signal in. Torch, carry that torch signal all the way to that repeater that we just placed. If you want to boost the signal with a repeater, you can. And then you're just going to wire up that staircase we just created with redstone dust. Once that is in place, it's very important that you come over here and place some solid blocks over this so that we don't have any water or items overflow. Then you're going to come down here, flip this lever. You should see the stone generators fire. We're going to do this just so that we can get the stone generators to connect in the middle. Once they're connected in the middle, you can go ahead and temporarily turn this off. Come back up here to your dispensers, place in 1 water bucket inside of each of these dispensers, and you are now ready to run your farm. All you got to do is come down here to your barrel or the dispenser down here, fill this up with bone meal, and give that lever a little flip. Once it's ticked on, your farm will start running and you will be enjoying bone meal profit. Now this mini moss farm is all about extracting the most amount of moss to convert back into bone meal from every single piece of bone meal that we use. As we can see here, this stone generator is going to compress all of the moss that we have generated and converted from stone into moss and gather all of the items that are on top of it before it fires off another piece of bone meal. And we're using the water streams every single time that this is generated to keep this farm fed and to gather all of these items together. In comparison to the mega moss farm that I have, which just operates on generate as many pieces of moss that are possible every single second, that requires a lot more bone meal to bootstrap and also requires a lot more stone generators to keep that happy and fed. You will need to manually replace the bone meal inside of the hopper or inside of your dispenser or the barrel, wherever you are feeding your bone meal into. However, you can just siphon that off from your main collection system as you see fit. But that's going to be it for me in this episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you like this farm, please consider leaving a like. Please consider subscribing if you're new here. And let me know if you have any feedback down in the comments. As always, I'll have a MC structure down in the description that you can do along with a full materials list. And I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.